Oh boy, where you going today?
I'm going to hang out with my cousin on the podcast. How about that?
I hear you. I'm
Yeah.
underdressed, but we're gonna get it popping anyway.
Nah, you straight, cousin. You know how we do. Miss J, shouts out to Miss J up in the building. Go ahead, sweet mama. Can you read that out?
Yes, thank you so much. Hey, sweet mama and Crete, you both look great. Happy 50th, Crete, and welcome to the old ass people in 50 Club. Yay!
Thank
Yay!
you, by the way, Miss J. We appreciate
Didn't
that.
say that part, but yeah.
Yeah,
Welcome, big ups. It's what the third 3 days, 2 days into your no 1 day. You were yesterday.
yeah,
We had the show on
yesterday.
first. One whole day to 50 in 1 day. Yes, clap it
Yeah,
up.
that's
We
all
are
right, though.
blessed to make it another year and make it to a big milestone, the golden years. Now you're a golden guy, like the golden girls. Yes. So he
Yes, sir.
decided to grace us with his popping fresh. I thought he was going to the players' ball for the 50 and over club tonight with his
Nah,
velvet
cousin,
jacket. Ow. But I said,
I
all
was
right.
I was coming straight out to hang out with you, cousin. You know how we
Oh,
do.
looking
So
like a chocolate velveteen rabbit. All right. But we're gonna get it.
that's
So
all
thank
right.
you all for tuning in to Conversation with Crete. My name is Sweet Mama J, and the big homie, the executive producer with the derby on, is my cousin DJ Concrete, known as Crete. Welcome to our Friday night shenanigans. I got my glasses ready because my cousin played too much. His topic is very hilarious. So y'all please call in because he got the foolishness. He waits. I was just waking up to give me the topic, and I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "Okay, he for the games. Let me get my good new shades on."
All right. So the topic here is starting off as Pookie. Are you in a Pookielationship? All
You
right.
will get
And
me
I'm
in
sure
trouble.
all of y'all know about the Pookies. And if y'all don't, y'all gonna find out tonight.
And not the
Right.
crackhead Pookie from New Jack City. Not that type
Right.
of Pookie. Not the crackhead. Not that
Right.
type of Pookie.
And just to let everybody know that that's where it actually derived from, the New Jack City Pookie. But then now Pookies then came up in a different way now. You know, they in challenges, charges. You know what? Let me leave them alone because I got a lot of friends that got challenges and charges, and they not no
No, they
Pookies.
used to drive their girlfriend. What was that called? A two-door Solara. We knew
Oh
that
yeah,
was
yeah,
a
that's a lot.
car.
Yeah,
Or the
yeah,
Millenniums. That was
yeah.
chicks'
Mars the
cars.
Millennia.
Or the
Yeah,
Hondas.
yeah. The Accords. Yeah. So you got it, cousin. You got it. Now, hold on. I missed out on the I
Bayliner, you
missed
got
out
some
on
spooky stories. Wow, Bayliner. We want to hear about that when you was out there in the world before you got your man about your Pookie story.
right. Uh-oh. Well, you know what? Let me make sure this phone line is hooked up because we want to hear all them Pookie stories as we move on with this. All right. So now, are you in a Pookie relationship? Right. And I'm gonna give
Mm-hmm.
y'all a little rundown. And you know, you can always stop me, sweet mama. But I'm gonna give y'all a rundown of a scenario. Right. And I'm sure a lot of y'all have grown up with, certain situations or being able to see this. Baylana says, no, neither Pookie stories that I've heard just today. Wow,
Okay.
a fresh Pookie story. See, I told y'all they out here in the 2000s, 2023 Pookies. All right. So now, what happens is I'm gonna run down this little story to y'all. Right. Let me
Mm-hmm.
get to it because y'all know how I be put my little stuff together sometime. Unfortunately, we have good women linking up with the wrong guys. I want to tell you this, and this is a true tale from the hood. I've seen where you may have a good girl with good parents and try to shield and protect their daughter. You understand what I'm saying? It's trying to shield and protect their daughter and basically not letting her out with the rest of the kids and everything because in their mind, they say we have better things for you. I can't even think of my words, but y'all know what I mean. Better. We have things set up better for you than this. We're going to have you in the house. We're going to groom you. So what happens is, and their daughter getting in, once the daughter starts to grow up and start meeting guys and stuff like that and get in a relationship, but to only find out one day the parents must have slipped because their precious daughter is in a relationship that she is hiding. And now they demand to know who it is. But to add the icing on the cake, she is pregnant.
Mm.
The parents are mad, and the guys from around the way, from the hood, are in shock and wondering who got her. And now they're paying great amounts of attention. And a couple days later, they see a Dodge Challenger pull up around the corner. And she hops out so she can walk the rest of the way so that her parents or no one in the neighborhood will see her. And she is now caught. Right? And in this story, she's now pregnant, and they find out it's a Pookie. The Pookies always get the good ones. A lot of times you have these nice, quiet girls never come outside. But as soon as when they get a taste of the outside, Pookie gets her every time. I mean, I know y'all know a girl that probably was nice and sweet, and then now she's pregnant. And y'all looking for her to be pregnant by this upstanding guy? No, It's always the Pookies who get them. So we also have Pookieshas, and that's the female Pookies. And we'll get on that in a minute. So, sweet mama, have you ever experienced anything like that? Do you know any females like that that are linked up with the wrong guy, and it really kind of messed them up, messed their future up?
Yeah, I can say that. Yeah, a whole lot. Yeah.
Have you ever talked to any of them? During your giving them a therapy session?
Oh well, yeah, and I've been in it, so I've experienced the Pookie. Well, we were young.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you saying that you had a Pookie in your life?
I've had a couple Pookies, and a couple
Okay.
Pookies trying to jump in now.
Wrote a song about it, like the here go.
Okay, I would ask you. No, I ain't gonna do that. I do not want to incriminate anybody. So, with that being said, so can you agree that most women need to really watch their steps when coming to meet new men?
So we're not gonna make this gender specific. Because if
Okay.
you are in an alternative relationship, you need to watch out just for people in general, what their intentions are. I think it's a lot of good people out here, but I think you have to be intentional when you start DMing people or you receive messages on DM. What's the intentions? Because you kind of got to be smart in that. If you are, because you have a lot of people that flirt with you or crushing you, whatever that, they want to knock you back. Okay, let me not say that. Y'all might not know what that is. Want to have relations with you. But, you got to just have that's something you want to do for fun, for what do we call it, shits and giggles, or you looking for a relationship. Be intentional. Whatever you is, and I was talking to one of my coworkers today. She was talking about another coworker being intentional. This person says she dates with a purpose. She don't want just to be having snooky nooks. She wants to date when she decides to be with a person, and she want to get to know them. She doing all the flirting. She doing a little thing. She's trying to be intentional with the person she's trying to get to know. So whatever the intention is, if you're going to intentionally just screw them, knock them back, are you going to intentionally want to deal with them on another level, friends with benefits, shake them up, sneaky links, freaks, whatever? Be intentional. And I think what it is, a lot of people are not clear when they start DMing people or sending them messages or on the online or whatever, however you meet folk. Be intentional, but don't put it out here more than if you say, I want to screw Pookie because he fine, he child, whatever, then do that. But when we say, okay, well, cool beans, then let it be cool beans. Don't start the stalking. Don't get to killing folk because they don't want to deal with you because you done gave up the coon's pocket or the slong dong. Be intentional. And if you got tough feelings, this ain't the world for you to be out here. If you got your tenderonis and your feelings is real soft, you gotta have some thick skin to deal with some of these folk because a lot of these people are mental, whether they smoking the weed or not. They're mental, and you got to be intentional when you're dealing with folk.
So let me ask you this:
Mm-hmm.
give me two, or give the audience 2 pointers on how they can avoid Pookieism. How can they avoid, just watching out for a Pookie so they won't get into a relationship like that?
So, if you, I'm gonna do it from a woman's perspective.
Okay.
If you see a nice looking guy that you want to screw, go masturbate first and see how much you really like that dude later. Because maybe you just backed up and your feelings, you all in your emotions. Go masturbate and see if you still think he's fine. Listen to how he talks. Because some must be in our feelings like, oh, he look good. I ain't had none in a while. I want to dip on that. Go masturbate and see if you still like him the next day. Because half the time it's just, we were getting that moment. We even saw something really good and now he looking all good. He probably James Jackass. And then you want to give your stuff away to him. So be intentional. I think people need to listen more. Have a conversation. Don't always do all these texts, little things without getting to know people, their actual voice. Because he could be start sniggling and busting out laughing, sounding crazy if you hear him on the phone. You got some crazy ass people. Or they start asking for crazy shit. Like I had one guy I was talking to, he like, yeah, I went to court today. I was like, okay, about child support. I cussed the judge out. I'm like, wait a minute, you cussing judges out? No, sir. You break law, you want to get shot. So therefore, we ain't getting shot together. I'm gonna let that go. But it wasn't like it was a younger dude. It was a dude in his late 40s, not no young guy. You got some old crazy snap offs out here too. So you gotta be intentional. You gotta listen. You snapping at the judge, you think I'm gonna further my feelings for your relationship? No, sir. Have a good day.
Well, see, Cuzzy, that's one thing right there where it's a tell-all tale. When you got a guy in his 40s, but he acting like he's 20, stay away. You know what I mean? It's a lot of that out here. Again, and people hear me say this, that's why I don't deal with a lot of dudes, because they just want something on totally different.
Okay.
And I don't want them problems.
Say in male homeboy relationship, you got to clarify what they mean. You don't mess with dudes out here nowadays, sir.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but I'm just saying I don't be fooling with these cats out here. They got too much shenanigans going on. And I get what you're saying. Yeah, we living in a world where we got to really clarify ourselves, but y'all already know I don't roll like that. You know what I'm saying? And then the other thing is, I had this conversation the other day when people say, for instance, like if you're talking about someone that's living an alternative lifestyle, when they consider themselves LGBT, gay, whatever. Look, that's their business. I'm not going to look at them I'm not going to look at them down or nothing like that. They are people. If we were to cut ourselves right now, we're going to bleed the same, right? Some people have went through things in their life through traumas and put them in that way. You see what I'm saying? And that's unfortunate. But on the same note, if I feel some type of way where I don't want to deal with that or whatever, and now you ever notice this, how and it be a lot of women doing this. Oh, you homophobic. Don't shame me because that ain't my twist. You see what I'm saying? Don't shame me for that. Like, as long as you act like a man when you're dealing with me, what you do outside of that, that's not my problem. I'm gonna respect you just like any other man. But don't shame me because you say I'm homophobic. Damn right, I don't get into that. Nope. So Indigo Phoenix says some people just hit and quit.
You got that right.
What you got to say about that?
You got that right.
Sweet mom.
Sometimes you don't even want to hit them because after they start talking, you be like, never mind, I'm good. Let me just go up in my box and get my tools that I have bought over the pandemic because they work real well. Now you got the ones that you can hook up the USB cord. You don't need batteries no more. They quiet, and throw them back
like
in
that.
the floor. Listen, Some of these
And
fools is crazy.
you see what Indigo said.
Exactly. Boom. Hmm. Let it rip. So I do therapy all week long. Seem like 7 days a week I work. And it's the same foolishness. They want to get into relationships. I'm like, how you can relationship you homeless? How that work?
You know what's funny? Look at what Indigo Phoenix said people pretend well,
They do.
and they do. A lot of people, and see that those where you got to really put your spidey senses out there to pay attention to what's going on. You got to see behind. You got to look at that person on stage, and you got to look behind stage. You want to read Miss J?
Good advice, sweet Mama G. Pay attention to the red flags. Girl, them flags be red, white, blue, green, purple, orange. It's that we are so self-indulgent in our society. We want what we want when we want it. Whether it come with red flags, blue flags, multicolored cut flags. Listen, people want what they want when they want it. I'm not necessarily gonna downplay my things that I need to do to be with not you, be with whoever. You either understand it or kick rocks. Just like you want me to be understanding of your schedule or not. People have things going on. I have elderly parents. I got my own shenanigans. You got family, you got whatever. So if you don't understand when I talk to you, I'm giving you quality. Don't worry about the quantity of minutes. If I give you 5 good minutes of good conversation and I'm, making you feel however you feel, still sprinkling over the sweet mamaness, then be happy. Because when our time comes to spend that time with each other, it's going to be quantity and quality. But I have to get those steps. If I'm preoccupied with other stuff, I can't give you the best of me if I'm preoccupied with a lot of other things.
Right. Women, get a man on his purpose. Don't get no goofy dude that's out there freestyling and doing what he do, whatever. Get a man on his purpose. So
again, let me say that. Sorry, cuz. Get a man on his purpose. But if his purpose will not either benefit you or you're not going to be a part of the purpose or you don't understand his purpose, then leave him alone. If a person is on a purpose to elevate to a certain echelon and that's not the person you are, leave him alone because y'all already clashing with who y'all are. So don't try to fit into his brand if you're not going to be on that team. I'm gonna go from a female to male relationship. You have males that they have their purpose, and if you know that man, because typically you're not trying to get a jump start, you're trying to hopefully have a man that's already have things established. Because I think all of us on here are in a certain age group. We're not talking to young folk. So if you have a man, on purpose, like okay, I don't want to give an example because that might say I'm doing something. Let's say he has a trucking business. Okay, he said I want to have 5 trucks in my fleet because I estimate this amount of money, so I know with this amount of money I can save this amount for retirement, or I'll have other drivers driving while I still have my other business or my other job with the benefits, and I'll have people contracted out to bring the money in. If you know that man gonna be busy because he got a full-time job, then he got a business. Either you're gonna help with the business, as my cousin said, you're gonna be with the helpmate, you're gonna be the helpmate with the man business, or shut the hell up. Leave him alone.
So what I was about to say, cousin, you just hit on it. I was going to say a woman has to understand her role when it comes to a man. She has to be a compliment to him.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not, she needs to find out if she's willing to deal with that and live under his law, under his headship. So yes, his law, his headship, because remember, the man is the head over the woman, Jesus is the head over the man, and Jehovah God is the head over all of us. So I'm just telling you that let's get these women back on track so we can get relationships back on track. Because with a lot of women being off track, that's why we have so many divorces and everything else. And we are getting ready. We got Miss Wendy in the building. Let's see what we got. Um, this is Conversations in Crete with Sweet Mama G in Crete. Who are we speaking with?
Wendy.
Hey, Miss Wendy, how you doing?
Mm,
Can
I'm
y'all
good.
can y'all hear her pretty good?
It's kind of muffly.
I'm a
Okay.
little far away. Whatever. Double up when I try to get online. It's good.
How about now?
Um,
Mm-mm.
Uh,
you can't hear me at all right now?
We can hear you, but it sound like womp 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 womp.
Well, I ain't at the party, but okay.
all right.
Maybe hang up could be your signal. Hang up and call back, darlings.
Yeah,
We
if
don't
you
want
can
you to sound
hang up
like
and
Charlie
call right
Brown.
back because we definitely want to hear what you got to say.
Yeah, we don't want you to sound like Charlie Brown in the game.
Yeah, hang up and call right back.
Okay.
Okay. Meanwhile, we have you want to read Baylana real quick?
Let's see. True sweet mama. Pookie will have all the time in the world, but it won't be quality time, and you gonna be paying for everything and end up in jail for his bad habits. Look at Crete and Sweet Mama; they both looking fly tonight. Take
Thank
their
you.
time out for us all. Yeah, bless your hearts. Hit those cash apps up and let them get the likes up. Let's get the likes up. And Baylana, she's very okay. Loud up. Okay, I don't know what that meant. Okay, go ahead. Can we hear you, Miss Wendy?
Oh, I think she said she's very loud out here. So, Miss Wendy, can you go ahead and talk? And if y'all can hear Miss Wendy clear, um, let me throw up a one. Put a one in the comments just to let us know because we want y'all to hear what she has to say.
Mm-hmm.
I'm better boy now.
All right, go ahead, Miss Wendy.
well, well, what I was saying was, in
Okay.
terms of the quality and quantity piece of everything, like you'll get somebody who when they have quote unquote have time and they want to include you in something, it's the thing that they want to do or the thing that they were going to do regardless, and you're just now invited along or tagging along for the ride instead of there being thought and purpose behind the time being spent with you. So when I was asking that is because does the other person have that same desire behind the activity or place or whatever it is that you're going to do with them? It can't be one sided. And in terms of purpose and finding somebody, you need to find a purpose partner, not just somebody that you feel like, oh, I want to spend the rest of my life with because we're going to have some money. That could be gone tomorrow. And then what? So all this time building and grinding and hustling and all of that, it's exhausting just hearing people say it, to be honest with you. What was everybody doing in the pandemic? Grinding, hustling, grinding, hustling, grinding, hustling. I'm like, okay, and half of them still where they were before the damn pandemic. So I'm like a little bit tired of the whole grinding and hustling and bossing, this and that and the other. And this is like, oh my God, it's exhausting just thinking about it.
You know what?
When do you get to live? When do you get to live? When do you
You
get to
don't when you
experience
die.
all the things that you should?
You know
When you
what, Miss
grinding
Wendy?
until you die, then what?
What
Yes.
you know what, Miss Wendy? It's funny that you say that because I know exactly what you're talking about. And yes, you do get tired of that. That's why you have to remove yourself from the normal so that you won't see or hear that stuff so you can better yourself. You need to reset your mind, not you per se, but I'm saying I did it.
Oh,
I remember in my big sister, she hadn't gotten on here yet. I'm sure she'll pop up somewhere, but she always messes with me about what I do because it's like totally out of my norm. And y'all know me since I was young. You know what I'm saying?
mhm,
And the thing about it is that I'm always doing something different. You know what I mean? I'm
mhm,
always doing something
mhm,
different, and that's how you have to relive yourself, reset yourself. You understand? So
mhm.
and unfortunately in our culture it can be very pressuring because everybody wants to have all this materialistic stuff and then everybody else think they have to keep up with it because and if they don't have it then they feel lesser of a person. Get out of that. Get out of it. Remove yourself from it
Yeah.
and watch how much more happier you will be. You want to read Miss J?
But this is the thing, people. You talk about materialism. My thing is, if you can't afford the material on your own, don't expect somebody else to purchase it for you.
I
That's
agree
the
with that.
thing. You can
I
be,
agree with
you
that
can
as
have
well.
women from head to toe because we saw during the pandemic they had the Fendi boots, the Fendi top, the Balenciaga boots, all this stuff, and you still damn trash. Your mentality
Exactly.
is still trash. So you
Right.
can have now. I carry design bags.
Oh,
That's because I'm older and I've always carried design bags since I was 16 because I got a lot of shit. You got your mask, your hand sanitizer. I still got baby wipes, butt wipes. So I need a big bag. I need a nice quality bag. So yes, ma'am. And I got
Right.
counterfeit. But you got people who want your man to buy them all the stuff. I don't need a man to buy me the stuff that I can't buy myself. I've been doing it forever. If you get a man that treats you to that, then that's wonderful. But don't say, "Oh, well, I want a man buy that." Did you buy yourself that bag? Did you buy yourself that bag? Your expectations of somebody else when you haven't made the expectation model for yourself. The same level of expectation you want the man to have you met that expectation plateau for yourself? Have you bought your own house before you want this man to buy your house? Have you done some of the things? Have you traveled, especially as you've gotten older? I'm not talking about the young women, because right now we have a lot of women. I have god brothers and I have clients. It's a lot of single ass women in their 40s, never been married, don't have kids, but they have six-figure jobs, they have good jobs, and now they want to get married and birth people. I'm like, first of all, I ain't going to that baby shower. That's an old ass people baby shower. And then two, what's now your goal at almost 50 years old to have a baby? You know how old you're gonna be when that child going to the prom? You're gonna be getting your social securities.
Right.
Ain't nobody no old ass grandma
that's my
looking
point.
person at the prom pictures.
And you know what I
That's
noticed?
my point, though.
Uh,
That is the whole point. Go ahead, Creed, but that is the whole point of me saying grinded. I raised my hand when you say, okay, you that age and you got that money and you did this and you did that. Well, here's the thing. I don't want to have no kids either.
right.
There's
And then
nothing
when I speak,
missing from my story in
right,
terms of that. I got you 100. Like, yes, you've done the career thing, hustling and grinding. Now you have it. The time done passed. If you were one of those people that wanted to have kids, I wasn't. I'm just saying. But I get exactly what you're saying about the ones that do. Like you
right,
done spent your whole life grinding and hustling. So I mean,
right.
if that's not what you wanted out of it was a paycheck or a number, then why do your whole life? It's insanity. It's
But you,
insanity.
We
but
have
you,
to, us as people, we have to get off of that, like the materialistic thing and wanting fairy tale relationships and all that stuff.
like
Trust me,
Mm-hmm.
it's
ain't
crazy.
no fairy tales out here, and that's the
Now,
thing. Now,
Right.
like my perspective from Miss Wendy and my perspective, are you in the 40 plus range, Miss Wendy?
Yes, indeed.
Okay, well, there
Yes.
you go. My perspective was going to be different from hers. I started young. I had the marriage T-shirt, I had the baby T-shirt, got the divorce T-shirt. So my perspective is different. Oh, why you ain't married
True
again? I,
indeed.
I had that. Wait a minute, hold on. Not you, hold on. I'm like, wait a minute, I may not want that again. Or I
Mm-hmm.
may not feel like some people feel if they don't ever get married, you're gonna be the old. They used to call old maid for the women, you're gonna have to be a cat woman,
Mm-hmm.
or they called the man a
Mm-hmm.
spinster. Remember that the old town there,
Mm-hmm.
tell you how old I am. The Spencer,
Mm-hmm.
the old man who's grumpy, live alone, and die alone. The
Right.
Spencer. So we have that mentality because I got my car, I got my big house. Woman gonna have to say if I want 50 women, she gonna have to take it. You still like the story I gave about where the nurse was saying all these men end up in the ICU having strokes and all these different ailments and have no one to take care of them, that they have to go to a rehab facility
Right.
to take care to wipe that
Right.
bonky, that butt, that boom boom. And now they're gonna have to go
Mm-hmm.
home eventually by themselves with nobody love because they partied up, they had multiple women, and guess what? Them women got tired of the shenanigans, so they went and found somebody who wanted the relationship, whether it's same sex, no sex, sex, whatever sex you want to call it. People are finding alternatives to the male female relationship now, so that's why you have all these alternatives. You had a poly relationship. Well, shit, if I'm gonna be multiple, I might as well give me one that I like, she pretty, and I might have to do what I need to do, but at least I'm in that situation because you see it a lot. Social
but
media, they
because
educate you.
y'all got to look at it this too.
Mm-hmm.
We are living at the end of time. And the reason why you're seeing a lot of these other relationships is because Satan has a lot to do with it. He's making these people think that the normal way of making love or having sex is no longer relevant. You got to do this weird stuff now to, to get satisfaction. And a lot of times it's with the rich people. A lot of them do that, but then now it then dwindled to your everyday people.
I
Because
think I
if you
sent
think
you a
about it,
video about rich old white women with money. I'm just gonna say have money. They're going to Gambia and getting all these black guys to have sex with them, and they paying them. And I said that's the thing they used to say men used to do. The Caucasian men would go and do the same thing. So now we have the women. I know when I went to Jamaica, it was like just because well, you know how you go on a girls trip. They thought I was gonna buy some slongy don. First of all,
Bruh.
I wasn't bringing sand to the beach. Not that I was looking for any sand on the dang on beach, because I got to think about healthcare. I already got to worry about the men in America. I can't worry about them in the foreign country healthcare. What's wrong with this long dong or what's going on with them? So they just automatically think because you're an American tourist, you're looking to purchase some stuff. Sir, no, thank you. I pack mine. It's like pack and play. Bring your lunch. I bring my fun. So
all right. Now, can you read Miss J where she says, I agree?
I agree with Creep. Women need to know and understand their role. She just wanted to be on the word wall with the word role.
Nah. So don't hate on the word role. It's just what it is.
So something else that was on the law. Law is on the word wall.
Word wall.
Now,
we got word wall this Monday. Yes, ma'am.
So, and you want to read Baylana?
Miss J, they only have to know their roles. They need to take the time to know their role. You got that right. Because I ain't playing no role unless it's peekaboo, unless we gonna have that relationship. I'm not doing the role unless we got the title and we know what we're doing. DJ Unique, what's up?
Hey, what's up, Unique? I meant to call him. What's up, Unique? I meant to call him the other night so he can be one of the DJs on the mix segment. But what we gonna do, Unique, I'm gonna make sure I call you and we're gonna have you in a mix segment. We had like technical difficulties the other night, but we're gonna fix that and we still gonna have like a little party, like so we can have some good music going on. So and he said even got Kevin Samuels background. Yeah, right. Huh?
Oh no, he's talking about that photo of you in the wicker chair from 1973. Boy, bad.
Yeah, no. hey, Unique, do me a favor. Don't hate Unique.
I thought it was Huey.
From Black Panther.
Yes. What is going on in that background, y'all?
That's
also,
all right,
Miss J, sweet mama, men need to know their role. Of course, they need to know their role. They need to know their role. Because if you don't know your role, how am I know mine? Because that's how you get role reversal.
Well, that's how you get beta. That's how you get betaism.
Okay, that's on the word wall too. Beta and betaism.
Yes.
We'd like to get a notebook for Friday night so we all can write our spelling words and our words down and need definitions like old school.
Yes, I'll take it.
So now let's go to the Pookieshas. How about the Pookieshas? Huh? And I know y'all know a lot of Pookieshas. Y'all probably hang out with them. They was probably y'all homegirls when y'all was younger, but then y'all kind of cut them off now. Okay?
No girlfriend, right?
Huh? Yeah, because y'all done got rid of them because y'all started seeing the Pookieism. And Miss J said, I got my list. Uh-oh.
Yes. Where's our male audience? I don't thank you, Unique, for coming in, Brother Tony with his snickerdoodles. Where the brothers at tonight? They hitting up, but I don't see them on here. Don't talk no stuff, because we're trying to educate y'all about the Pookieshas. Don't be DMs talking stuff later.
Now you got Pookieshas out here ruining brothers' lives. They be looking for the little soft, innocent guy. And it's always about money most of the time. Always about money or some type of support. And so Pookiesha is out here, y'all. She is the one. Matter of fact, you know what? I was going to say something wrong. but it wasn't pertaining to nobody in this room or whatever. It's just how I see the Pookieshas. They act just like the Pookies, and that's why they go together. They go together, but they really can't. It's hard now. I've seen it before. I've seen the two Pookies mend, but they usually don't mend. You got the Pookies after their type of woman, and then you have some said not Pookiesha here. Yeah. So and then and then what brother-in-law said, make Snickers catch a case after him. So and see, look, here's when I start talking about the females. Now y'all want to be quiet. Is that how we work here?
Yep. Huh? We want to hear your list.
Okay. Most Pookieshas I know have Pookies and they clash. That's what I'm saying. That's what they do not work together. But I've seen it. I seen a Pookiesha couple, a Poo couple. I've seen it. And it's only one I've ever seen because they do not work together. Them two will end up killing each other.
And that's usually what happens. You see them doing some crazy stuff together. You see them trying to gank the system together. It's always some foolery. It's never for the greater good. It's always some mischief behind that Pookie and Pookiesha type relationship.
Right. The chemistry does not work.
Maybe what's this? Go on to the Walmarts now. They're gonna be in there trying to buy big TVs, all these carts of groceries. You'll see me like, my God, who made these little ugly children? These little
and loud.
And just as crazy. They ain't fighting, they cussing. He bringing stuff up to the cart. She got on what in the world? So I ain't even, I ain't even been to Walmart probably about 3 months because I can't. It's tax season. I don't go in there during tax season.
Oh man, tax season, you're gonna have to pack a pistol.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Right.
Especially in the southern states, ain't nothing wrong with that.
Right. Miss J, War of the Roses, and that really is true because they just don't work together. But I'm just telling y'all to beware. I know a lot of the women in our age range now are, a lot more wiser or whatever. But our show next week is going to be about older men dating younger women and older women dating younger men.
I definitely want to hear about that.
I definitely want to.
Somebody was smiling a little bit too hard.
I was just trying to go down the list. I'm thinking about who I want to put on the roster. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, while you putting them on the roster, just go ahead and tell them to come on the show.
Oh no, we can't air my dirt. No, you're already in my business. Go ahead.
Oh, you talking about your roster?
My personal roster. I'm trying to get up.
Bro, come on now, dog.
I'm about to be what they say outside.
Come on, man.
With my little pants on, walking. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Well, Me D said, "What is wrong with that?" So, Me D, if you can clarify which one are you talking about, both of them, or are you talking about one? If you can clarify that in the comment section, or call 470. Go ahead, Cuzzy. I'll never remember that number.
How you don't remember your own phone number? 470-493-9928. Check. I ain't never. So I have a philosophy about dating younger men. Now, I ain't talking about nobody 19. I ain't talking about nobody like that. They still wet behind the ears with Similac on. Like, if I'm 50 and they're 40s and maybe late 30s, depending on their maturity and their life goals, it depends. It depends on what type of relationship I want with them.
Okay, I'll tell you what. This is going to make for a good show next week. And we're not going to touch on it a whole lot, but I did want to know, and Me D said both. And I'm gonna say this because we're not going to give up the show like that, right? But I'm gonna tell you like this. When and y'all and I don't bring the smoke, bring it. I think when you have an older guy and a younger woman, it depends on how young though. It's nothing wrong with that. I'm gonna tell you why. because, and I ain't got to tell y'all this, y'all, you go out with y'all clout with this all the time. Women mature faster than men.
So if she's 18 and he 57.
That's wrong. That's dead wrong.
Bruh.
So that's the reason why a lot of relationships don't work, is because a lot of women, or I'm guilty of that, getting a person their same age. A lot of times it doesn't work because the maturity level is just not there. The woman is looking for a little bit more maturity, and usually the guy's just not there yet. That's why you got to look 10 to 15 years older. But trying to tell a 25-year-old that
10 to 15 years older.
yes.
So you talking about for either person? Like a
No.
woman?
No. The woman, I think when she's older and get a younger man, she's sick.
What you mean by sick?
A disorder or mental illness.
Why? Because see, the men in our age group, ding dongs don't work. So I may need your stud to get my corkscrew jumping.
Bruh.
You got to warm it up like a Buick. I might need a younger man. Because the ones in my age group, let me tell you, and I don't want to say they don't like me, whatever, but it's too many of them. Even in conversation, they might not be talking about me personally, but in the conversation I have in therapy, the equipment not working. So of course I'm gonna have to get a young one because probably his stuff. So if you tell me if I'm 50, I need to date a man 60 to 65.
Oh my goodness.
Sir, no, sir. I don't want to see them old wrinkle ass balls. No, thank you. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. Mm-mm. I have a girlfriend who's 50. Then she'll be 50. I think she turned 57. Her husband's 84. It ain't working. It ain't working.
Okay, so listen, cousin. Now we're going to get to Baylana's comments because she has some questions there. Now, okay, you're saying it ain't working, right? It ain't working. That's what you do. You find a man who keeps himself up.
Creep.
No. Listen to what I'm saying. He's keeping himself up, and then he's keeping himself up mentally, physically, and then trust me, that changes the game. But I want you to also know this, right? I know the age-old thing where they would talk, people, get a younger man. He's like a bull. No, the younger men these days is nothing like when I was younger. Totally different. A lot of these dudes are getting high. They don't work. I know dudes right now in their early 20s that need testosterone because of the foods. We can't help that. The foods we eat. When you're 20, you think you can eat anything and everything.
I got something for him to eat.
Huh?
I said I got some stuff for him to eat.
I'm sure you do. You always welcoming these guys to go to the vagina diner, aren't you?
Oh my Lord. I'm talking about, you said they can't control what they eat. They can do, a lot of people aren't introduced to like a better nutritional diet. There's plant-based. There's a lot of things, because I eat plant-based items. So it's other alternatives besides the McDonald's. I'm so sick of McDonald's. They're eating that constantly. They're not drinking enough water. You see their skin. Their little fingernails is dirty. So just little hygiene things that you can control. A lot of people don't, even men in our age range don't even go to the damn dentist. I mean,
that's very true.
Eating on somebody's cooch pocket, but you don't even go to the dentist. You trying to give me a bacterial infection from your funky mouth because you smoking weed. They vaping. Is that what called vape pens? They doing all this stuff, but then they want to be in your cooch pocket, and they give you all this BV, and it's like, come on, y'all. What about your eyes? They squinching. Go to the eye doctor. They got the America's Best or whatever, $34. Get your eyes examined. You may have to get some glasses, but they don't invest in their health. A lot of men do not. Women do mostly, but men, it's like trying to fight tooth and nail for them to get proper care of themselves. How are you going to be a leader if your health is jacked up? Whether they're 20, 30, 40, 50. Hygiene is important. That's the first thing when I work with clients. When last time you had a physical? When last time you had your teeth done? Your insurance says every 6 months. when last time you had your eyes? Because you see, I got 100 pair of glasses because every year I've been wearing glasses since I was 5. So I take care of myself. But it is always that we have to start promoting that with our men. Why should I have to do that? Shit, you should already have that going on. So you coming in
That's very true. So that's where you need to know and see where he was programmed, right? If you're going to go get a young man, first of all, let me speak on my sons.
Well, old man.
It don't matter. I'm going to speak on my son. One thing I can say about them, they don't smoke. They might have a drink or two or whatever. I mean, I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't do none of that. I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying, I know they keep themselves up. I know they do. Now, you have to look like, because they see me try to keep myself up. I'm half 100. Yes, I am. Go ahead. Run with it. Bring the smoke.
I'm listening.
You about to be a half 100 too.
No, I'm
you
not.
about to be a half 100, honey.
Go ahead.
So all I'm just telling you is that you find yourself a man, whether he young or old, that's taking care of himself.
Of course.
Okay. And see, you got to remember, us being people, us out here peopling, it takes a lot. We have to eat right, think right, avoid things that we shouldn't be around or fooling with. I mean, it's a lot just being people. Let's get to these Bayliner. So Bayliner said, go ahead.
Why do that makes us sick? And then Bayliner said, my men have always been young tenderonis. I hear that, darling. Let me know.
Right, but we're talking about how young is what I'm saying.
Let me
know
your age, Bayliner. Tell us what's your tenderoni age. Says I may need to hang out and get some pointers. Bayliner said, I'm perfectly sane, sir. Miss J, sweet mom is hilarious. Bayliner, no mental illness or disorders here. Miss J, sweet mama, you don't have to tell any man to keep himself up unless you are their mama or their therapist. Now you said that, girl. Then say that the second part. There you go. But if you, so then it's a twofold. If I like the person, I'm going to be conscious of them. If I'm trying to move forward, I think I'm just a person with a genuine concern for folk. So if I know you're sick, like, hey, did you take echinacea? So I think I'm a nurturing person anyway, whether they my man or friend or even little people at the where I work at, I think I'm a nurturing person. So I'm going to ask, like, maybe you need to, have you thought about, so I'm going to always inquire whether they my man, somebody, even like females, like, when the last time you got yourself to, I haven't, so I think I'm a nurturing person, but if I'm thinking about being intimate with you, I'm going to ask him those questions because his health is going to possibly affect my health, and it could affect my health.
Yeah. I mean, again, you need to see where he was programmed from. Straight up, you really do.
You can say people program, but people just sometimes slack off. People talking about how they were raised by their parents. Okay, how long? I was talking to a friend of mine. How long we gonna keep blaming our damn parents for your grown ass decisions? No, we're not gonna keep doing it with all this healthcare out here. It's not like you gotta go to the free clinic, or a lot of people run to the urgent care. They get a little itch. How about get you a primary care physician, one that will know your history and that continuously work with you to build, your history. Not somebody that's gonna see you hit it and quit it in the emergency room or the urgent care. Get someone that's gonna be consistent with your healthcare. I'm gonna call it portfolio or your file. So when you have a question or they seem like, you know what, Mr. Creek, you wasn't like that a year ago, but hey, I did some things. Let me order this type of text. You got to get into relationships with your health care providers, your dental, your vision, especially your primary care. Because as you get older, they're going to say, okay, well, you need a colonoscopy. I think you should be tested for this. Do you know your blood type? Do you have any allergies? Let's work on this. So you should be getting in a relationship with your health care providers, because a man or whoever you deal with, your partner, because I'm going to say partner. I don't want to think everybody like we're excluding them in the show. Whoever your partner is, you should be concerned, because if you rolling around in the hay with them, you're going to get dirty just like them if you're not watching out.
Very true, sweet Mama G. Like, I have a very good relationship with my doctor, actually, I really like him. I'm skeptical when it comes to some doctors because some of them will be quick to be little drug dealers and stuff like that, just slinging the drugs to you. And mine is not. And especially where I go two different. I have my primary care, and then I have a place where I go weekly to
Mm.
make sure my health is where it needs to be. Okay, so you find yourself one of them. Now we have Baylana that said the youngest was 9 years younger.
Nothing
Do
wrong
you
with
think
that.
that's you don't think nothing wrong with that?
Mm-hmm.
Well, let me say this. Let me say this. Don't forget about the maturity of the situation. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think nothing wrong with that either. You know what I'm saying? But let me explain something else. And I'm 50, right? And I'm not just talking about me, but you'll find um some people, right? And this is what I'm telling you. I've seen some people that's my age and older than me that will outdo a 30 or 20-year old in certain things, right? So a lot of times that don't matter. It doesn't. The younger age, all you getting ready to do is be somebody's mama again.
But
You just
that's
earned
few
yourself
and
an
far
extra kid,
between. But that's
huh?
few and far between. A healthy man. That's few and far between. But I'm a quote one of my friends, like who, like you. If that 9 year younger man like Miss Baylana, girl, do what you do. Be happy.
Oh yeah,
Be
ain't nothing wrong with that.
happy.
If you're gonna be happy with
Be
doing it,
happy,
then
Lord.
you would. Now you got me. D said some people don't want to know about their health, which is scary.
Yep. I agree with you,
And
me, D.
yeah,
You
and
be
usually
surprised.
it's men.
It's
Usually it's
typically
men,
men. Absolutely. But they always want to stick and move on somebody. Get out of
right?
here.
And then we have Miss J said, "At me, D, well said," and it that was well said.
Mm-hmm.
Um, did I miss?
Um, did you
Oh,
read one by
yeah.
Miss J?
Miss J said, "Genuine concern is fine for a friend or family member or a child, but not a grown man you are dating. Genuine concern is fine for a friend." Yeah, right.
Mm, but if I'm dating him and I'm caring about him, I'm gonna be concerned about his health. My mom and dad been together 330 years. She's still concerned because it may be some things she see that he may not recognize. But that's all a part of being a good partner, recognizing. Or they might be like, well, sweet mom, you don't look too good today, or you haven't been sounding the same. I want somebody to have a concern if they're my partner or significant other or whatever the classification is for that particular day or week. I want them to have a genuine concern. Oh, you sound tired. You look tired. Your skin not looking well. You drink water. I want a genuine concern. That's a woman should be a nurturer. Now I heard that on my cousin word wall, nurturer. The woman should be the nurturer in the relationship. So part of
Absolutely.
that is the nurture. Maybe make your appointments for your significant other. I've helped looked up, primary care provider because a lot that's a scary thing. A lot of men don't know how to do that. Even picking health insurances. A lot of guys don't know how to pick the correct health insurance. They may be overpaying or underpaying, for their benefits. Didn't know about long term, short term disability, and so most of the time, women we're more up on those type of things. So it's nothing wrong to me with helping your significant other with getting those processes because in long term you might be on that man insurance. If he'd had a household, he's gonna wipe you up. So you gotta make sure that man got the correct benefits.
Yeah, that's
You know
very
what? I
true.
just think that
Oh, go ahead,
one of the
Wendy.
major things. Yes, I know one of the major things that people oftentimes forget is the history behind men's fear of going to hospitals and all of that. So you sometimes you'll end up dealing with a whole host of other problems or other realities for them that are completely ingrained in the fact that there have been so many things. Same thing with vaccinations and why nobody in our community or the majority of our community was being plagued by the pandemic and everything else because of these inherent fears that they have because of things that were before their times and sometimes some of them in their time that
Hmm.
have been experienced by us as a race of people. So you're not going to just throw all of that in the wastebasket and say that doesn't exist. They just don't care about their health. They're more afraid of the things that we feel or we, currently know are probably not going to happen. But for them, they're very real. And
Mm-hmm.
it's exactly what's going to happen in their mind. So they're not going anywhere near hospital. I've seen people lose loved ones, parents, and everything that would not step foot inside the hospital
And
with
and
Right.
I and I
that
agree with you,
level of
Miss
fear.
Wendy. But I'm gonna say this: you got a lot of people throwing their slong dons and coons pockets on a crap table every day. You gonna go out here
That's
and
what I'm
sex
talking about
everybody
that.
in the world, but you won't go to the
I
doctors and
ain't
get them
talking
checked out.
about that.
We have a fear as women too. They've done a lot of experimental
Absolutely.
sterilization.
Absolutely.
Women is a health disparity in women is huge, and that
Mm-hmm.
was like, I've been on
Mm-hmm.
several panels in reference to that. I had a
Mm-hmm.
medical trauma that wound up having to plateau me to another level of procedure I had to be done because of the carelessness of the healthcare provider. Because I was African American, of course, I'm African
Mm-hmm.
American, but
Yeah.
the disparity. So it's everywhere.
Absolutely.
The carelessness. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so it's just not the men, it's across the board. But you didn't want to
Right.
get vaccinated, but you go out here and you have bathroom sex with somebody you don't even know in the club that night. You don't think
Mm-hmm.
you might as well go and get the vaccination. The foods we eat, you're dining out everywhere. They didn't shut up every listen. Remember they had the chicken shortage because we ate every chicken in the world over the pandemic. Every chicken wing was getting sold. Remember, Wingstop became Five Stop because they didn't have enough chicken wings at the Wingstop. So where the hell y'all think all these chickens come from? They ain't screwing that much to make these chickens because remember, KFC is not Kentucky Fried Chicken no more. It's KFC because they serve it. But that's a whole nother story. Get into it. So you got to be cautious, but you got to also, when you can't eat healthier, eat natural, take your supplements, a lot of natural things, especially you go to my favorite place in what's it called, cousin? Uh I'm never gonna get the name of DeKalb County Farmers Market.
Oh
Is that
yeah,
what
you're the cab market. Yeah, that's
that's
my
the spot.
spot
They got
too.
everything so much. I spent a couple $100 because like, oh, I never heard that spice. You look it up. The natural foods. I've never seen a purple sweet potato until I came down to the south.
Yeah.
So well, further south. So it was like, oh, okay. So you see the different things you can utilize, but you gotta be conscious. Do a lot of reading, do a lot of research, and it's nothing wrong with that. And it's nothing wrong with your significant other getting that person healthier. If you want to live longer, be around, you can't stop cancer and stuff to come to it. But be preventive. Hey, let's go walking. Let's go instead of eating ourselves because everybody want to go out, eat all the time. I'm sick of it because I can cook. Let's do something different in the dating pool. It's okay, but I'm saying let's go eat. Let's go to eat. Let's go to eat. Do something different because that's what's kind of killing us in our communities.
Very
Eat
true.
all stuff and drinking. I don't drink like that
See,
either, but
I don't do none of that stuff. That's why I said. I mean, the stuff I do is nature and exercise related, and I'm gonna keep it like that, and it helps me. Period. Now I still have a lot of work to do, but it's not even about the work. It's about living healthy. Now, me D said they need to care about themselves. Talking about the men, the mate, or it can be the woman. I agree with that at first. I agree with that at first. If y'all just dating, yeah, of course, they need to care for themselves. Why is you doing wifely duties for this guy and y'all not married? Or why are you
because
doing
again, if you
manly
don't,
duties with this woman and you're not married?
but y'all told us a couple shows within this last year, she got to prove herself that she gonna be a wife. So part of that is making sure that my man, just like I'm giving you good home cooked meals, I need to make sure your health is great as well. I can't force you. I'm not dragging you down to the doctor's office, but I'm ingraining that health is important. But when you're talking and getting to know a person, y'all should be having those conversations in reference to health.
And you know what? I agree with you on that, because by the way, when you were talking about some making their appointments for them and everything. Yes, that's especially, I mean, when you're married, yes. You know what I mean? But even if you are close, have a really close relationship and you're past a certain level in that relationship, yes, it's time to start helping each other like that. But if you just still like dating and kind of new or whatever. Nah, that's the part right there. You trying to figure that person out, at first to make sure they do keep themselves up. You want to read Miss J right there? Yes, a partner.
Oh, yes, a partner or significant other, but not someone you have to fight to even take care of himself or herself or whatever self they want to be.
Yeah, that's crazy. Okay. And we had Miss J once again said, it's sad how people do careless acts with one another, but won't go to the doctor. Very, very true. And they out there in the streets. And what's up, Dougie? How you doing, my brother? He told me happy new chapter, my brother. I see you with the 3-piece. Oh,
The 3 piece.
on. Yeah. Yeah, I was the 3-piece double breasted.
Yeah.
Then Miss J said, no, she doesn't, as Sweet Mama G. I respectfully disagree. A woman does not have to prove she is a wife.
And I said that was on a show that some of the men came in and said she got to prove herself to want to be in that wifely role. That wasn't from the book of Sweet Mom. That was from the book of the male participants in the show. Previous shows, not tonight, but previous shows. That's on the word ball.
Let me say this. How about can I disagree? And I'm gonna tell you why.
How you gonna disagree with something you said? But go ahead.
Maturity and growth.
If Sweet Mama G let me talk, then you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. What I'm saying is, I do agree with that she has to prove herself as being a wife. How can a man move forward? Why would a man want to invest in something that he can't see the investment, the reason for investing? So it needs to start happening really kind of immediately. Of course, you're going to give her, that grace period at first, but then she has to start showing and proving herself for the man to start to invest. That's almost like you trying to approach a company to come hire you, or if you are a singer, you trying to get them to put you on. You have to sell yourself. So you have to sell yourself as a wife. Why? If you sell yourself as a hoochie, guess what you're going to be to him? A hoochie. But if you sell yourself to him as being wife material, then he may start to invest in being, you that, he may start investing in you.
I feel like both of
Y'all just prove what I said.
I just proved what you said.
And it needs to be on both sides, right?
I'm sorry.
I said it needs to be both people proving to one another that they're the person for each other.
Well, again,
if a man ain't got to do anything to prove himself, that's whack. That is just ridiculous.
No, what has to happen is
what
has to happen is that the man is going to be the man. Okay, it's a reason why she's even looking his way, right? So of course she needs to learn about him. She needs to learn about him. But as she's doing that, and if she sees interest, she needs to go after that man and start making moves so that he can invest as well. Baylana said, I disagree with Miss J. A woman should always show that she is capable of being a wife. I agree with. I agree with that. Because if you're not proving yourself as being a wife, or a wife is a woman, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hold on, no. You since you ain't saying nothing.
I guess well, these new gender roles, I don't know. Classification, yes.
I'm talking about a real woman.
I'm a traditional woman.
Traditional woman.
Yes, a wife is a woman and a husband is a man. That's just me. So a wife is a woman, a husband is a man.
Right.
Now, what's the question?
So what I'm saying is, if you a wife is a woman is going to carry herself as such, right? So why? I mean, if you're not going to present yourself as wife material, who are you? Or what are you? Miss J said a man is not always going to be a man. What if he turns out to be a Pookie? That's very true. And you know what? Pookie's are good salesmen too. Why do y'all think they always get the good women? They will lie. They will do whatever they have to do
Mm-hmm.
to get that woman. So, as Miss J said, a man is not always going to be a man. But what if he turns out to be a Pookie? So that's why it's important for us to have this conversation on this podcast to help the man and the woman. We have Bayliner said, you want to read Bayliner, Cuzzy?
A woman should have a good maturity level and know how to treat a man and how to be a wife.
Absolutely.
Amen.
Bayliner also said, excuse my caps on my work computer. Okay. I'm gonna make sure I ain't missed nothing here. So, and then we had Me D said, I expect the man to do the same. Okay.
Miss J said, and do men have to sell themselves as husbands?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. A man, I mean, like a man just, you can't do nothing. And I think Miss Wendy said that. You know what I'm saying?
I sure did.
Yeah. And then Miss J said exactly, Crete. She presents herself. Yes. And a man has to present himself too, because, and that's where y'all have to pay attention to, because you got a lot of dudes out here that are good salesmen of men. They'll act like they'll sell themselves as men, and they end up not being men. That be the
Can you
one.
push the amen button?
Amen.
And that would be the one that end up having your baby, and you start thinking like, oh, this is the guy. But 1 year later, y'all done broke up, and he's on to the next.
Sometimes it don't take that long. At the baby shower, she's single by herself.
Yeah, that's true. So, like I told you, I know it's tough out here for y'all women. You know, it's tough out here for all of us. You know, but we got to keep striving, and don't get wounded by your last experience. Remain to be yourself. Yes, you have to, like, say for instance, like me, I am a different person from years ago, but that's called maturity, and I have a lot more maturity to take in. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm always learning something, and I'm always changing something, but I will not be wounded by my past, but I will take my time moving forward. And that's what I expect or suggest you guys to do.
That's just growth and evolution.
Huh?
That's just growth and evolution.
Oh yeah. Yep. And you want to read Bayliner, cousin?
A real man, a true man, will follow the energy of good woman.
That's backwards.
Now, I was going to say like that too. Like the woman should follow the energy of a good man. If y'all feel as though I'm wrong, say it so I can be correct. But I that may have been what Baylana meant to say. And then Me D said all experiences will make you a better person.
Not necessarily. You got some experience to make people bitter people.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I agree
for
with
the
that.
greater good. I'm not going to be a good woman no more. I'm just going to take these men money or take these women money and do whatever because I'm sick of being hurt. So now I'm going to get mine. I'm going to be a gold digger or whatever. So it's not always for the better. It may look better, but it's not actually going to be better because the things you're going to have to put up to get those things is going to be more than what you think is going to be worth.
Right.
The hurt that comes from that is just going to be, I don't even know. I totally see that every single day. And a lot of mentees over the years that really felt like I was there for the hurt. I saw their hurt. I saw their pain. I hurt all of it. And they came out of it with this vengeance that they were going to take revenge on any and every person that tried to have any kind of intimate relationship. It always going to cost them something. It's financially, materialistic, whatever. It was going to cost them something that had nothing to do with their heart. And if their heart got hurt, they thought they were going to feel better guess what? That same better was bitter. And that's all they became. Just bitter. Never better, never healed, never evolved to the next. They got stuck right where that hurt was and couldn't get past it. And there was no amount of money in the world
Mm-hmm.
or heartbreak that they gave to somebody that was going to make them whole again. And that's the sad part. And nobody is teaching our women, our young girls, to come up in an environment where they understand there's a difference between that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree with that. Now, Bayliner said, I meant to say a true woman, I'm sorry, a true man or a true woman will follow the energy of each other. Pookies are out for themselves. And they are. They are truly out for themselves. Because come on, have y'all ever, and I know y'all seen a Pookie before. This ain't nothing new. Have y'all ever seen a Pookie care for anybody else other than themselves? No.
Nope.
I mean, because in that case, he would be married. He would be taking care of his kids. He wouldn't be out at the clubs. There's a lot of things he wouldn't be doing because he would mature to be a man. And usually a man with a family shares with his family.
But a lot of them are out for self-indulgence too, Creek.
Yeah,
They just got all these babies all over the place and making all these families with all these different women or what have you. So you're not selling. You just you spread yourself thin. Because no way you're going to keep all those kids in order because you can't be 24 hours with your kids if you got 5 kids with 7 baby mamas.
Right. And to Miss Wendy, Miss J said, Miss Wendy is speaking the truth. It's so sad that hurt people. And that's why I always say as well is us men have to look out who we deal with as well. You know, because when I was coming up, I learned a lot of stuff from my elders. You know, they was out on the streets. They had experiences. They've been through some things. Right. But then you have a lot of women out here giving advice to other women. But you even have mothers out here hurting young women. And that's why a lot of them out here hurt. They out here making them be single, making them take care of yourself. Don't what's the word I'm looking for? Rely on a man. Well, you have to find a man. If you find a man, then you can rely on that man. How are you ever gonna? That's a part of marriage. What you going to be on eggshells your whole marriage? Go ahead, sweet mama. I saw that. You tell me. Let's go.
Some people be on eggshells. I mean, it depends on.
But that's being paranoid. That's fear. Don't go into marriage in fear.
Well, some people do.
Well, that's why their marriages don't work, and that's why they miserable.
You got that right.
Bayliner said, I can tell you about some Pookies. I bet you every woman in here has a Pookie or 2 story. I guarantee you.
A Pookie.
I guarantee you.
Pookieshas.
See, now you're deflecting our conversation to the Pookieshas, cousin.
No, we were talking about both Pookies and Pookieshas.
Yeah, but right now I'm talking about Pookies.
No, I'm just saying there's some Pookieshas too.
It's a lot of Pookieshas.
You got 10 children by 20 baby daddies. I mean,
that's crazy.
Like you can't take care of all these. You can't possibly love all these kids. One, you got a whole daggone basketball flag football team. And the kids are neglected. They come into the schools. They hungry. You can see they're, not always taken care of. You got everybody else taking care of your child, but you.
Right.
Grandma, great grandmas. It's like, what is going on?
And Bayliner said, I can tell you some Pookie stories. I mean, I can tell you about some Pookies. You need to call in Bayliner so we can hear about these Pookies. And they said Pookies usually have an agenda. They do. Them jokers will have an agenda and drop it and move on to the next.
So you got the cycle of agendas we talk about in men. We have that summer where they want to be single. We got the fall where it's about to get cold. We got that winter where they got that whole relationship. It's getting cold. They want them Christmas gifts. Those are what them little games the men buy, the PS, whatever, the Xbox, that time, and the shoes. And then Valentine's, they break up for you, but they back what you're doing tax season. Then they break up when all your money gone again. And it's a cycle.
Well,
Oh, no.
Y'all need that, and see that's where y'all need to pay attention to what's going on. Like seriously, a lot of these broken relationships, you can blame it on women because they give in to these sorry guys, but then the guys that they should be dealing with, they make it hard for them or won't give them the time of day.
But they
But
always say,
then,
I'd rather have a piece of man than no man. Remember, Creek, we heard that from somebody too.
Wrote a song about it.
yep, and
What?
you're right, cousin, you're right.
They rather
Uh,
share than be without anybody. You know, they rather take that Wednesday at 5 o'clock
Mm.
dinner and a piece of little man's long versus not being with nobody. They want some of the benefits like the text and the good morning boo and you beautiful and bless your heart and all that sort of stuff that men can, oh, good night boo, good night this that and third. They still, even though they don't fully have that man, they get a little piece of what a man that's supposed to be yours or just y'all two together
Right.
getting that little bit. Well, it's just like having the busy man who's always working, the hustler or the grind or the businessman. Just like they can't give me a whole lot of
Mhm.
relationship, I'll take the married man and can give me a piece, just like I'm gonna take a piece of the busy man. So he's still my man because he said I'm
Right.
beautiful.
well, we got Miss J here. You want to read Miss J
A
about the
good
good example?
example, a good example of mothers hurting women, Creek, is the movie The Ties That Bind with Taraji P. Henson, Morse Chestnut, and Jennifer Lewis.
Now I saw the ties that bond, but I didn't see that one. I didn't know they made that version. I was, I guess I'm telling my age now. Miss J
You
also
were
said
saying,
a good example of my. Oh, we already read that. Um, okay, Dougie, you want to read Dougie?
Dougie Fresh. I'm so tired of the texting. I want to hear her voice. Yeah, and yeah, and Doug, I don't think you was on in the beginning. We said that with the people DM the hell out you all the time, but you barely hear their voice. And sometimes you need to hear their voice because they might be crazy. They might not be who they say they are. Once you get to hear the actual conversation, the deflection in their voice, once you become a connoisseur of jackasses, most of us can decipher BS when we hear it.
Well,
that song, Jackass. Is that on the board too?
So I call most of them James Jackass or Janet Jackasses, depending on which one. So he got Pook and Pookiesha, but I got James and Janet Jackass. It's my thing, and I have conversations. Oh yeah, and I
so
want to shout Dougie out, cousin. Dougie was almost our co-host relationship expert this week. He
mhm.
put in, I'm just gonna like what you want to call it. I'm just gonna give you a synopsis. He said he liked taking rides, but it's hard to find a woman that want to take those long drives and just kick the I'm okay, I ain't gonna say kick them over here. Just to have, conversations and just to ride out. It's hard to find women. He likes to do those type of things. Ride to a little area, I guess, with a wig blowing in the wind or whatever, and they have fun like that. Good conversation time where you can
Mhm.
kind of get to know per se. She gonna grab on the steering wheel and take y'all off the road, careen off the road, or she gonna be chill. Do y'all have a similar taste in music? What kind of conversations are you all having? Does she put her arm behind your headrest and play with your ears or your bald head or whatever? That's how you can, capture a lot of things about people.
All right.
I had people going
That's one
on.
of my favorite things to do.
Okay, Miss Wendy, we're going to ask you some other favorite things you like
No
to do. Oh,
lie.
you a girl.
When you, case in point, and I was just saying, it's one little, it is a little part of a story, but I was with a person who loved to drive because my dad did it with my mom. Even when we were kids in the back seat, we would take long drives into the woods, into the mountains of Pennsylvania. But nonetheless, it's just a part of who I am and things that I like to do. That's number one. And it's funny, found one person, God rest his soul, where every time we would get into the car to go for one of those long drives, he would simply put his hand in the center at the center console, palm up, with his fingers spread apart, specifically for me to put my hand and cup in between his fingers. And that's how we would drive.
Oh,
See, that's what I'm
Little
talking about.
things,
that's cute because I had a
little
dirty
things
thought
that
about
mean
the palm up.
everything. You know what I mean? Just the thought of it should, well, for me anyway, and clearly you just had it too. It pulls back. It's a memory. It brings a feeling. It
I
just,
do like
and
that
it's
too,
as
Miss
simple as
Wendy.
that.
I definitely love that. I have a friend. We're friends, and that's the one thing we drive. And then he know like every type of music. I've gone from the Eurythmics to Madonna, everything in
Right.
between, and we
Mm-hmm.
just play a playlist and we just rock out. We can talk about any and everything from people to did you see this? Did you see this video? Hey, it's a good movie.
Mm-hmm.
And just even with platonic people, like when I do road trips, I have playlists. I even listen to a playlist to go to work to hype myself up that I have to go to work. I was born beautiful
Mm-hmm.
instead of rich.
Mm-hmm.
So I gotta hype myself up with certain type of playlist. It's the same thing. They get in the car, they already know I want to hear a certain type of music. When I hang with my god brother,
Mm-hmm.
we know we like the woo and also other stuff we like to listen to. So people
Mm-hmm.
gotta get to know who you are in your ambiance, whether it's platonic or romantic. That's how you get to know people for friendships, whether they platonic, like I said, or romantic. Getting to know what kind of music. If you we both 50, and and I like little ratchet music here and there, depending on what kind of ratchet song it is.
Mm-hmm.
But I also like the stylistics and the, Harold Melvin, the Blue Notes and the Earth, Wind and Fire. But you got to
Yeah.
get to know the person. Like I'm an eclectic music person. I'm an all around music person. So when Dougie said that,
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, yeah. And you know what? I was saying, Dougie, some of the men don't even have cars. So I'm gonna have to be driving, hold my palm up while I'm driving in the middle console.
And you never
Oh,
know if the platonic
cuzzy.
person might become the person.
Right.
Oh,
That's what you
cuzzy.
have to be open to. People said that to me before. You have to be open, completely open, not just partially, completely open to what should end up being your best friend as your mate for life.
Now,
And the one little thing for people who know or don't know the Bible, whatever, I think some of the women forget the fact that, I just think Proverbs 31 has always been my goal. And I feel like I've reached it several times over at this point. But that's the difference. All this, okay, boss this, boss that, because Cree, we had this conversation
hmm
million times.
hmm
You know, people knowing their roles. So when you just start making a joke about roles, I said, oh no, I say roles all the time because
right,
know your role and play was what I always said.
right,
Because at the end of the day, you will have to at some point boss up in your relationship because every day is not perfect. And the evolution of man is going to continue to happen and woman to support. When you say help me, when you say purpose partner, when you say it all goes back to just the basics of how we should be living anyway. It doesn't take a fancy word or a overt thought. It is simply how it was written to be in the first place. Your man is supposed to be the head of household, so knowing his role and playing it first would be the foundation. Like
right,
if you can't be a provider, protector, and leader, then you're not a man.
right,
And I don't care if you got the business, or not. How can I follow something that ain't even there? How can
right.
I support you when you fall down if you were never up?
And see, some men don't know how to accept that type of help.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I'm like that. You know what I mean? Because it's weird. The best thing for me is for you to just do what you're going to do for me. Because a lot of times I'll say no, I'm good when I should just let it happen. I'm
And
always
that's
trying to
good.
do
I'm
for
not
others.
asking you. I'm just gonna do it until
Just do
you.
it.
And that's the thing.
Exactly.
Why you
Right,
gotta exactly, Fremont, but just do it. And that's
And
the part of. Oh, you
yeah,
gotta prove yourself. No, I ain't gotta prove myself. I'm gonna do what I know is right for me to do. That feels right for me to do because inherently it's gonna feel right.
right. And
If
I
it's
agree with
not the
that.
right person,
Mm-hmm.
if you know when you trying for the wrong person.
right.
You know
Now,
they sitting there and did work, they ain't put no food on the table, and you ain't gotta ask them. Think about it,
Mm-hmm.
and we the happiest. We didn't ask our man to get our nails done or get our hair done. We didn't ask our man to pay the light bill. He already did it.
right. Now, here's the other thing too. Me D was referring back to the phone text relationship. She was saying phone relationships may be all they want, which is true. I mean, so you got to keep your eye on that, Dougie. Keep your eye on that.
Like they
And
said,
then,
know your purpose in dealing with that person. We said it previously. Some people just want you as a jump off, just a deflector from the day. They might not even really like you, but you give them that energy. They just
see,
like, oh well, you'll feel
there's a thing, And this, let me read this with Miss J. She said, Miss J said, who is Dougie referring to? So Dougie, you might have to spill the beans. But see, Dougie, you're making a mistake right there. I'm gonna tell you. A lot of times you cannot, and y'all may not agree with me, but you can't keep giving women your non-sexual attention. That's where you mess up.
Can you expand on that, please?
If you just on the phone talking jibber jabber, you can't. Women get bored with that. Then you start talking about something you don't even need to be talking about. Be straight up, say what you got to say, boom. It's okay to have conversations on the phone. But when you start donating all that, they start looking at you differently.
Can you further explain that? Donating what?
If you just listen to what I said, non-sexual attention.
So a man talking to the woman till the sun come up about life and experience, that's not good. But in between that life, he need to say, "Can I grab your boobies tomorrow night?" I mean, what? Or send me a titty pitch? I mean, what? What else are we talking about? I just want you to explain for the crowd, not for Sweet Mama, but for the crowd.
I was explaining that for the men.
Right. But we want to know too.
You just go back to exactly what I just said and think about it.
But you got
you don't need to be on the phone now. I'm
saying,
go ahead.
Okay. Are you basically saying that be careful of spending their time, basically, because that's what it is on the phone. They're spending time with and there's no intimacy at all. They're just spending time with these women on the phone, having these conversations. It's basically leading them on to believe that there will eventually be an intimate moment when that is not his intention.
See, you I put it like this. Yes, but you got it backwards. Put the man in the place of the woman and the woman in the place of the man. I'm telling him as a man, stop spending so much non-sexual attention on that conversation. Now she got you on text because you spent too much conversation probably talking on the phone, and now your value then went down. Well, we just going to text.
So you in the friend zone. You got put in friend zone.
Basically. So
true.
and then am I lying, Wendy?
No.
So I'm just trying to tell you, Dougie. I know sometimes you be looking at me like, oh, I don't agree with Crete, and I ain't right all the time. I'm not, but I'm trying to tell you. I'm gonna have to give you some game. It's fine to get on the phone, but make sure you're talking about something. You don't want to get on the phone. How about that Kahula bird? No. Nobody, we don't want to hear about a Kahula bird.
Purpose. Talk with purpose in your conversation.
Yes.
If you're wanting to be the man in her life, then you're going to need to have conversations that move in that direction. They don't have to be sexual in nature, but they need to have an intimacy that lets her know that you're more than just her homeboy that's getting ready to talk about the game last night.
Right. And so Dougie, just watch it. And then Dougie says, Baylana said most women want the sexual attention. Well, most women. And then Dougie says, I do the calling to see what's good, but I just don't do text. Dougie, you're messing up. Don't call. Don't be calling. What you grinning for, Sweet Mama?
I'm just listening.
Okay. I just think that if you call in and you're having those conversations, it should be some kind of understanding that you either heading towards something or you just trying to be the friend. So please don't have a conversation where you now her best homegirl. You just lost all credibility of being her man.
I'm trying to tell you, Dougie.
And pick out some shoes. Don't do that part. That's too far into it. You got to have fun, yes. Commonalities, if you really like shopping, cool. But then start talking about things in a more intimate way. That's just my little piece of advice. I haven't had the ones that turn into my best friend. We're going to go shopping now. They talked about it too much.
And Baylana said, "You want to read that, Cuzzy?"
Careful, Dougie. You fixing to get the Cretology.
Yes, I'm gonna give you the first book, Dougie, with the signage, and I'll sign it for you. And Baylana, you want to read that one? I mean, yeah, we'll read Baylana, Cuzzy.
D said true. Unique said my phone broke. I can't receive a text unless you got an iPhone. Baylana Cree saying go give her the D and spend that time, even if it's an hour. Go spend the time, or you going to be in a friend zone. Brother-in-law said, "LOL." Miss J said, "Cree, are you saying that Dougie not to call, just to be calling with no explicit reason?"
Let's go back to what Dougie just said. Dougie just said, "I do the calling to see what's good, but I just don't do text." Hello? I'm just calling to see.
I'm, I'm sleepy.
And what's going to happen is he's just calling to see. Come on now. And then here we go with Unique. Unique talking about my phone broke. I can't receive a text unless you got an iPhone. Let me say something about y'all people that got iPhones. Y'all some of the most happiest people on earth. Matter of fact, on earth. And look at her.
I got an Android. I got an Android and iPhone. I'm a player from the Himalayas, depending on what you got going on. There you go. Android takes great pictures.
You putting your foot in both sides of the pond.
Right. You know what I'm saying? You one of them buy phone users, like buy phone sexual.
Because I'm a fluffy girl, I got the big Android to take the big fluffy explicit pictures you talk about. Whoever said that, Miss J. And this one is the iPhone, the FaceTime folks so they can see the fluffiness. And then there you go. Smart ass.
See, you got it all down. You got it all down. And then Unique, he talking about I gotta upgrade this 8. It's old. His phone display is in black and white. Now you got Miss J.
Hey,
Said you want to read that, cousin?
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Hold on, Miss. Okay, Dougie. Okay, Dougie said when I don't call, then I'm in some dog poop. Brother-in-law said Cretology chapter 2, verse 3. Get off the phone and go give her the bone.
Hold on, brother-in-law. Hold on, brother-in-law.
Brother-in-law got it right, says Baylana. Baylana, iPhone. We saw Unique about to upgrade today. Miss J said, LOL, Cree. You are right. If they call just to see, all of a sudden I've got another call and I got to go.
So Dougie, all I'm saying to you is, I be saying stuff and you agree with me on a lot of stuff, but then sometimes you don't agree. And I'm not right all the time, but I'm just telling you, Dougie, you got to start listening. You know my number. You can call me anytime. That's my brother right there. But don't call me just to see. The only see about me is Creek.
Call him with intentions.
Okay, so we got another caller coming in. Miss Wendy, do not hang up. I got to learn how to do this. Hold on one second.
You got to merge it after you answer.
Thank you for calling Conversations in Creek. Who may we ask who's calling?
This is Dougie.
Uh-oh. You ain't just calling to see, are you?
You gonna see? Oh God!
What's up, Dougie?
99% we agree with each other.
Yes.
Just 1%. No. Let me tell you something, bro. You know where I come from,
right?
You know how back in the day what some of us used to do to make that cash,
right?
So it was like, hey, I hit you back, whatever. As we got older, all I hit you back, got them going to the other people because you don't conversate.
Mm-hmm.
If I don't go around there, I'm in trouble. If I don't call, I'm in trouble. I don't do the text because most of the time I'm driving. I'm just
Okay.
not a text guy. I'm not gonna be on. I'm that texting. No, that's for other people. But
Got
if I don't
3,000 calls
call,
coming in.
if I don't call, she said something about checking in. I don't check in. But if I don't call, she don't hear my voice. Next thing you know, doorbell ringing, the car alarm going off. Somebody sitting outside the house.
Oh, wait a
Somebody
minute,
else
hold on,
calling
Dougie,
from a
And
different
hold on.
number.
hold on. The
No,
caller that
I
just
just
called, can y'all
say
call
what's
back?
going
That was my
on.
bad.
I might come
Call
around
back.
there. I'll let you know what's going on. That's it.
Wait a minute, Dougie, hold up.
I don't do none of that. Who was you with?
You
Where was you
said,
at? You was at work all day? You was out of town like that all day? I don't feel like hearing it.
so wait a minute, Dougie. You said people come to your door.
I keep it simple.
High level insecurity.
Wait a minute, you said people come to
I
your
keep it
door.
like my mom and my dad was. They communicated. They explained,
Hey, Creed,
Huh?
did he hear what I'm asking him?
Yeah, but hold on. Let me make sure I got that other call in. Hey, did we just get the new caller in?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Let me 1 second. We want to hear what you got to say. We trying to let Dougie finish what he was saying because he was calling the seat. Go ahead, Dougie.
man. So I mean, that's all. That's my calling.
Mm-hmm.
My that's my seeing what's going on. Let you know if I'm coming over, what I'm doing. I don't even be on the phone that long. If I'm on the phone more than 5 minutes, something wrong with me.
All right. So, Dougie, this is what I need you to do. Have you, this person that you're talking about, have y'all been together a long time?
No.
Okay. So, right there, you're gonna have to change some things tonight. Change some things tonight. You got to start leading that relationship. When you keep trying to play 50-50, it don't work. It's a tug of war, and eventually she gonna win. So you are gonna have to start leading. That's it. You got, before you even call, or if she call you, and before you answer, have your game together. But not a game. I'm talking about like you playing with her. You got to have your manhood ready and right. And I ain't talking about the manhood underneath of your belt. I'm talking about just in general. You understand what I'm saying? You can't be like, just don't be sitting there just talking, just conversating. But if you do, make sure that you're learning about her. Listen to her, but you mainly ask questions. Of course, you're going to have something to say to educate the situation or whatever, but listen to her. You need to learn her. And then, but you need to lead. You need to lead that. Don't all that texting. You need to lead that situation seriously. And I mean, we can talk more on that.
I don't do the text. Remember, I'm not the text dude.
But
My
you
thing
just
is, I'm
said,
talking. When I see you, we talking. When I'm on the telephone and say, "Hey, just checking on such and such. What's going on? I'll see you later on. We're gonna go such and such." I told you, I'm on the phone for 5 minutes. That's it. When I'm with you, I'm talking to you. I want to see what you doing. I want to see your expressions. I want to see what's going on with you. Because so many people out here be doing the Facebook line stuff on screen, but if you sit right there in front of them, I get to see how you are.
let us see what's going on with you. I used to do that same thing, but it backfires. I know you're a caring guy and everything, but Dougie, you have to be more on your purpose and do what you got to do as a man. Don't keep putting your intention into what you doing. I know in your mind you saying like, I'm just showing her that I care. You can show her you care in other ways. Don't do it that way, because you'll get taken advantage of. Then you'll get put on a text list.
That's the other thing you got to remember. You got to remember who my brother is.
No woman wants to.
Okay.
You gotta remember. You gotta remember who my brother is. So that's
Calvin.
none of that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. It's
What about
I
him though?
changed that a long time ago, bro.
Uh-huh. You said it's so,
That
and what did he do?
you said what he do?
No, I'm saying, I mean, I know your brother, but I'm just saying,
Yeah.
what was he like? What did he do? I mean,
Oh, he just paid attention to what his little brother doing,
mm-hmm.
and it's like before I was that, like you saying now. I was like that before, and I'm like, you know what? It's about me. I used to be about everybody. I changed that when my mom passed away. I
Mm-hmm.
definitely changed all that.
Right.
It's about me.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna let you know that I'm paying attention to what you're doing. You know what you trying to see what's going on with your feelings, what you care about. But no, that's taking advantage of. Nah, that's being a texting list. Nah,
Let me say something, Dougie. You'll be surprised how sneaky a cat can be.
say that again.
You will be surprised how sneaky a cat could be.
Yeah, they sneaky.
Now, don't go nowhere, Dougie. Who do we have a third caller? And who are we speaking with as the third caller?
You're speaking to Miss J.
Oh, we got Miss J in the building finally. Okay. What did you want to add, Miss J?
I was just prompted to call after I saw one of Dougie's comments, and then also when he called in when he said that he doesn't that he wants to hear the voice, right, and that's legitimate. And he said that he would be in dog poop if he didn't call. That depends on the context as far as the level of relationship that he's in. But I just simply wanted to say to Dougie that when you do call a woman and you're only calling for what's good, usually she loses interest really quickly. So if you're having trouble with that, it's probably why. If you don't have any depth to the conversation, you're probably better off just texting.
Okay, and you know what? Oh, go ahead.
When I say something was good, I'm not calling her, hey, what's good with you? I'm calling up, how was your day? Like I say, after 5 minutes, I'm done. I'm on the phone. I'm not calling you, hey, what's good with you? Or, no, it's I'm just cutting things down instead of trying to explain something out long way. I just cut it short. Instead of, being on here, I'm going to cut it short. So me saying what's good, I don't call her and say what's good. I call her, how was your day? Checking, see what's going on.
Oh, okay.
So can I ask a question to that? So Dougie, you say you calling her for 5 minutes and you don't text. So this woman is getting 5 minutes of your time per day.
On the phone.
Okay. So but then you say you don't text. So how else you
So
I was going to ask him that.
Communicating with the woman.
I just don't. Only time I text somebody, I text my brother, one of my homeboys, or I text my job. I'm just, I'm tired of the
You're giving her 5 minutes of what's up, which we say, so the WYD for 5 minutes. You calling her to hear her voice for 5 minutes, and you don't text. So you're giving her 5 minutes of your time per day.
I'm going to 5 minutes of me being on the phone. Going that 5 minutes is going to just talking about. I'm come over there. I'm gonna stop by. I'm gonna come pick you up. We're gonna get something to eat. We're gonna go out. We're gonna go out. We're gonna go wherever. That's what I'm doing in 5 minutes. That's why I don't call in here a lot.
I mean, do you give her actual conversation over the phone? Because you can't always see each other. You're not always going to get something to eat. It could be, in traffic or something.
I'm just not the.
You're not the phone guy. I'm
not the phone guy. A phone gets you in trouble. When I grew up, the trouble I just don't be on the phone.
So
you'd rather
you can't
text.
see her all the time. If you can't, okay, I don't know what woman can see some man every day, all day with the 5 minutes of fame. Because you give me 5 minutes of what you're doing, where you at, what you going, how was your day, you're gonna be in that zone like my cousin said. because you're one rushing me with the 5 minutes. I don't have time for people to sit in my face all the time, but then you're not texting. Sometimes it could be you do some text messaging because of the time or constraints. But I get it, but it's something missing.
Yeah, Dougie. I mean, you should actually reevaluate this relationship. I'm not saying leave it. I'm not saying run it, but you have to take a lead in it, and you have to make it make sense. And
Because
you
five
have
minutes,
to,
hey, I can't. Five
and then
minutes is
when you
crazy.
right, and when you call, make it a purpose. And sometimes you can talk, but make sure it's good conversation. If you
Right.
just conversate, make sure it's good conversation. Now, before we step on, hold on. We have Bayliner said, "Why are you in trouble? Ain't no man supposed to be in trouble." At Dougie, that's you submitting. She's supposed to submit to you.
Yeah.
That's my point that I was saying right there, Dougie. That's what I was trying to say,
I'm
and
a
that's
little
what's gonna happen.
scared.
So with that saying that, you mean to tell me if you never did anything in your history of you being in a relationship where you didn't do something and she was upset with you. That's my meaning of in dog food.
So, can I say something, Doug? You said something that if you didn't do something, she would show up at your door. You said that correct?
Yeah,
Did you say yes?
yeah.
Unannounced, come to your
We,
door?
Actually,
yeah, she come to the door.
it can be announced. That's crazy.
Either one. But see,
Yeah,
this
that
is
sounds
me.
like
I'm a
stalkerish.
boundary type person. I don't give a damn if I'm sitting right here. You knock on my door, whether you my mother, father, sister, and I don't know you coming. Not that I'm doing anything, but that you don't.
I'm not
Okay,
gonna answer.
again, you letting her control the relationship. Now I don't agree with that.
No, you see, you can knock on my door all you want. Let's say I'm letting you in,
But if you had
and it
put
said
your
just like
foot down,
the car alarm will go off.
But it
but you
says a
put
lot
your
about the
foot
character of the
down.
person that's
Wait a minute,
doing
so
it.
you got a crazy bitch touching on your doors of your car. You need to get rid of that. She crazy. Because first of all, you need to put your foot down as a man that you don't. I don't go over no man's house unannounced. I don't give a F. I don't do that because one, you might see something you don't want to see, or you might be at the wrong place, at the wrong time. Mind your damn business and you be safe. I ain't going to your house undamn announced. You better be dead 20 days, and I'm still gonna call it Popo. But she touching your door because you're gonna run out because you hear the car alarm. So you got a crazy bitch.
Wow.
Cause I ain't touching nobody's
Some
door.
of them see that way, some of them don't.
Well, you know
But like
what,
I said, for
Dougie?
me,
Either you
you can,
slinging the best slongity dong, or you James Jackass giving all your money away, or or you just got some
no.
crazy bitches. You need to reevaluate your life at this point because them three scenarios is craziness, sir. Love you like a play cousin,
Crazy,
but no,
Doug.
sir. No,
Uh,
sir.
Dougie, I don't know you, but I'm hearing some stuff that just sounds crazy. Life is way
It,
too short.
it does kind of crazy. But it's like, I mean, if I tell you don't come around, I can tell you what you can and cannot do. You come around on the door, see if I'm there. I'm gonna answer the door. I'm not afraid to not answer my door because I got something behind me, whoever it is. You know, if
But
it's something
Dougie,
bad
guess
or not.
what? You should drop
You
that
need a
bitch because she
training
done
order.
came to your door. You told her not to come. Guess what? X her off your list. Because guess what? All these other women my cousins say
Absolutely.
available. X her off your list. You told her don't come to your door. She came anyway. You the dummy for keep fooling with her. So you James
And Doug,
Jackass tonight. You James
Creek
Jackass.
made it.
Because you letting her control that situation. A woman you told don't come to your house with the shit and the giggles. You let her come and constantly, and then you answer the door. I would call police if that bitch was keep being out there. Call the popo because she is disrespecting what one you told her, and two, now she violating you. So you keep letting it happen. See, you're gonna be on. You are now. You on the beta list. Now you don't talk about, but you done
yeah,
made the beta.
Dougie, we got some stuff to talk about. Go ahead, Miss J.
We love you, Dougie.
I was
Love.
just gonna say, Dougie will find himself arrested just
Yes.
going out to see what's going on with his car
You got
alarm.
your thing
Just
right.
make up a story. My thing is when they start to act crazy like that. Creek, you made a good point a while back when you said that there are so many women. There's so many beautiful women out there that may have had bad relationships, but it's only because they've had pookies who
Mm-hmm.
have just basically put
Mm-hmm.
them in that category. Dougie has a cesspool, literally a cesspool of women that he could choose from, and just hearing him talk about this just really hurts my heart because I just don't understand why good men, um, would allow something like that because it's going to cause more stress, more anxiety, and literally, it could just you could end up with a legal issue.
Mm-hmm.
I would drop her. I would drop her like a hot potato,
Legal
and I would get a restraining
character
order.
issue. Yep. Because the
And
thing
Absolutely.
is, you got to let it go. No, sir.
go ahead, Miss J.
I was
After
gonna say everything that Sweet Mama G said. I was just amening everything she was saying. She's 100% right.
now, Dougie, let me ask you this. Right now, if I say 1 to 5, if you and 5 meaning bad and 1 meaning good, where would you rate the relationship with that female?
When I rate it,
Yeah, from 5 being a bad relationship, 1 being a good one.
let's look at it as
What did he say?
He's trying to figure out what he's looking at as the number wise. Go ahead, Dougie.
um. Well, I just look at it as a relationship. So to me, it's this is not like somebody. I'm like, you know what?
We need
I'm gonna be
we
with.
need a
I'm gonna
number,
settle down
Dougie.
You
with.
taking
We
too
need a
long.
number. We need a number, Dougie.
A
1 to
three. I
5.
put it a 3. I put it a 3. A two and
Okay.
a half.
Crazy
Well, guess
couple
what?
at your
So
door
guess
is a
what?
trick.
Guess what?
Mm.
What?
Next year it will be a 6 to a 9.
It might not even be next month.
Well, I mean, so
You
is
know,
that a
with this
good thing?
girl.
Is that a good thing? What I'm trying to tell you is that in a bad way, you giving it a 3. It can be next month or next year. It's going to be a 6 or 9 because it's only going to get worse. Brace yourself.
But why would you even stay if you know it's not going in that direction? What you waiting for her to do better? That's a lie.
And Dougie, I'm telling you, it ain't going to get better.
It ain't
It's
gonna
going
get
to get
no better,
worse.
Puka.
Uh,
No, it gets worse. I don't know how old you are, Dougie, but
50 plus.
over, yeah, 50 plus. Okay, same here. All I know is that over 20 years ago, I had a neighbor that lived in an apartment complex adjacent to my house, and he had one of those situations that could have just gone way south, but nonetheless, he ended up moving completely away from the area because of the stalkerism. Because not all
Mhm.
men, it's not always men. Women do it too. They're worse at it. They slash tires. I've seen that happen years ago. But I know that this man moved far, far away. He was living in one part of Georgia, and he moved to like, a, just really far away. And he had a whole new woman in his life after that, and it was just a calmer situation. I think if he would have stayed where he was, it would have gone from bad to worse.
Mm-hmm.
and even look at the comments, Dougie. I mean, you, first of all, I look at you like my brother. You are my brother. I mean, I've known you since I can't even remember not knowing you. You know what I'm saying? And I joke. I've been like this all my life, but then I'm serious too. And like right now, I'm serious. Um, Even look in the comments. Like you really need to sit back, reevaluate this. Your life can be much better, but this female can make your life so much worse if you keep messing with her. And so right here, you have Baylana. Oh no, that was Miss J. Dougie, get out while you can.
Mm-hmm.
It's not worth it, right? Then you have Baylana right at Miss J. Dougie needs to put down the shovel because right now, Dougie, you are digging yourself deeper just by explaining it to us, right? Just pull up domestic violence, and you ain't even gotta lay a finger on her, and life could change. You know what I mean? Miss J also agreed at Baylon. And Simply Tenart, I'm assuming with the eyeballs, she's like saying she's looking at you, in a way. And then you got Baylon right there said that's definitely a stalker move she's making. Dougie, you have all this information right here that's coming from other women. You need to pay attention. Miss J, this panel is seeing such a better situation for you. Try to see yourself in a better place. Dougie, that's a bit much. You know what I'm saying? Seriously. And then if you move on, which we hopefully, you know what, we hope you just we hope your situation gets better. Whether if you stay there, which is, I'm gonna be honest with you, probably won't. But if you move on, it's going to get better. But make sure that you handle it in the right way and pay attention to the signs from the beginning, and you nip things in the bud from the beginning. Don't play with it, because you're going to be putting yourself back in a situation, and it might be worse than the one before. So seriously, Doug, you just,
can I say something?
Sure, go ahead.
This is Miss J.
Okay.
I have a feeling that most of the women in this audience today have seen that. They know about it, whether they've experienced themselves or not. But this is like triggering for me a lot of instances where I've seen from the outside looking in, even in my own family. Now that I think back, my brother had patterns of women that did that. And for the family members, when we would hear about these things, it would get scary. It would get to a point where if this was a person that was in his life long enough, where she had her email addresses and things of that nature, we would get emails with bad language, just so many things that were negative. I still remember, and I know you all may have, if you all ever saw that movie, A Thin Line.
Oh yeah, with, Thin Line Between Love and Hate.
Between Love and Hate, with
Martin Lawrence.
That's real. I know in the case of my brother, a birthday cake was left on his step, a black one. So this stuff is real, and he's had to call the police before. It's just so sad. He's had to get alarms put on his home. It's just not worth it. There are beautiful women in the world, a lot of them, and if you just kind of back off and take some time for yourself and just kind of get a picture of how better it can be, and look forward to something better, then you'll see yourself walking away from that.
And it's nothing wrong with being single and date with intentions or whatever. But when you see people with those type of attitudes and behaviors, that's not the norm. You need to get out while you can. Don't put yourself, because people mental health is far more extreme than it
nowadays.
Used to be. And I'm speaking as a behavior health therapist. I be tired from the stuff I hear that people do to other people. And I've been in a domestic violence, and that's known from being on the show. I was in a domestic violence marriage. I had to get that ex parte. That's what we call it in Baltimore. So it's no joke, the fear, you walking out, you looking over your shoulder, you don't know what's going to happen. Because people now got their family members, they do all type of stuff to you. Ruin your name, ruin your credit, get your job messed up, your livelihood, your health and wellness. So you got to be careful, because people are very vindictive and spiteful. You see them signs, you see the signs, and you've been on our show over a year. You see the signs, and I'm very, very, very kind of not hurt, but very sorry that you're going through that, but didn't know that she would be that type to go through that.
And let me say this. Big shouts out to Big Sis finally popping up on the podcast. And she said, gee, I have not been able to chat at all until now, but I'd like to say that we may be missing something about Douglas. I believe that he loves this woman, and it's not that simple for him.
I love a whole bunch of people, but it's simple enough when it comes to your health, wellness,
and your life.
Cousin, it's different out here. You may be with your old player for 1,000 years. These people is special. And like I just said, speaking from not just being a woman trying to date, because people turn me off real quick. I'm like, it don't take much, because I see the signs early. I've dealt with the shenanigans, so I'm not even dealing with it. But I see it from being a behavior health therapist. And most of my clients are men. I got to hear you trying to kill yourself, simple stuff, or you going to do whatever. It is some straight trauma out here. And because Dougie is family, we are here to be informational to him and be a support to him. It's not that we discourage you from a relationship. We are only giving you as the information. You want to make whatever decision you want, but it ain't that much poo 90 in the world that's going to make you at your 50 plus old ass age to go through this. That shenanigans we might have did in our 20s, maybe 30s. But with we know your background, but your health and wellness and all that other mental, and not that something wrong with you mentally, for your mental, you don't want to go through that. You're one too old for it, and you got to be careful. If
Right.
she ain't that damn fine, because she pulling on your door and tugging, let it go.
And let me say this in reference to what my big sis just said. Like, believe you know that Dougie. How long have you been with her?
Been with her.
Yeah.
This is November, December.
Oh, so it's kind of new. But the reason why I was saying because Big Sis had made a point about you know, you may really love her, right? I'm not going to put you on the spot to ask you that question. Do you really love her or whatever? But to my Big Sis point is that if that is involved in that relationship, you may need time to disengage. Now, that's just like right now. I can attest to that. That you know, being in love, and then you know, and then you have to change the versions of love. Is you got it in love, or you just love the person. So now I love the person, right? And then what happens is when you got to get away, everybody has their own process and time the way they deal with that. You know what I mean? Just because Pookie got the girl out of his system in 1 week, it might take you a year or two. You see what I'm saying? And that's where I think Big Sis was touching on, which is very true. So, but what you need to do tonight, Dougie, you need to reevaluate the direction of the relationship that you are in, and you need to look at the pros and cons, and you need to get out. I'm gonna be very honest with you because it's only gonna get worse. And then we have me D that's saying something. I was actually talking about this today that you know, find your peace. Peace is worth way more than money. Find your peace. You know what I'm saying? Because most people, if you think about it, when they have money, they try to do things that give them peace. But if you can find peace without money. You just make some changes. That's it. And then we have Simply 10 Art that said, sorry, I'm working. I'm working the eyes was me looking at y'all breaking up Dougie and partially happy home. Well, if she's making his home unhappy by banging on his door unannounced.
And pulling on the door.
Yeah,
So,
pulling on
so Dougie,
doorknobs.
have you had this discussion with this young lady about the situation?
Well, yeah, I said something about when she did it about coming over to the house.
Have you set boundaries? Because remember I told you boundary type. Have you set those boundaries with her?
As far as her coming to my house,
Unannounced
Yes.
and but
Yeah,
pulling on your door and all of those stuff.
when she did it, we had a conversation about that. Because I never, nothing like that never happened to me before. Well, when I was young, it happened like that, but that was being young and dumb.
Since y'all had the conversation.
Oh, no. It happened at once. I'm like,
make sure you stick to your boundaries, Dougie.
Just make sure. Yeah. Yeah. And I'm going to interject here if you guys don't mind.
Sure. Go ahead.
Just because, like I said, there are a lot of triggers from instances that I'm aware of. And this one here is super extreme because it involves a family member. This was a great uncle of mine. The last thing that I expected for him to, the last way that I expected him to die was by gunshot. But he was. And he was in his 90s, and it was in the backyard.
Wow.
And it was at the hands of a girlfriend who I remember going to visit him when my kids were much younger, just to spend time with him. And he was probably at that time maybe in his 60s or 70s. And he was telling me then about her stalkerish ways.
Mm-hmm.
So trust and believe. And this great uncle was married one time, and when his wife died, and I want to say they were married in their 20s, he never remarried. So he had this girlfriend all these years who was very jealous. And I'm listening to this man who is in his 60s, 70s telling me about jealousy and, stalkerish ways and things of that nature and showing up and popping up. And he actually died at the hands of her, killing him in his backyard. So I'm sharing that just to simply tell you that no matter how much you might believe you care or love somebody, if they are bringing danger to you, you've got to put a stop to it. You've got to put some boundaries up,
Mm-hmm.
and you've just got to protect yourself.
Right. And Dougie, we telling you this because we love you, my brother. And you know what I'm saying? Like, and you need to listen. Uh Big Sis said, I understand that. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me put it up on the board. I understand that, but I hear him. So listen to him. I am not saying that he shouldn't leave her, but what I'm saying, listen to him. There is some pain there. And I agree, Big Sis. And I mean, I hear it, Dougie. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, and Big Sis is right. But we are listening to you. But we all are also telling you to you need to figure out what you're going to do here, because if you don't, it's going, like I said, it's just going to get worse, and it may put you in a place that you don't want to be. And Miss J said at Leslie, that is very true, but it does not negate that we don't address any imminent danger, right? And then we have Simply 10 Art said, read that one, Cuzzy.
Oh, I
Oh, I
missed
missed.
that part.
Okay, I'm not sure what part she was talking
Okay.
about. And then you want to read Big Sis?
I've been knowing him a long time, and he seems to be a little fragile right now. So all I'm saying is to soften some of the words used. So again, being on here, I am the professional. So I'm saying what I say to my clients. Dougie is like family. I'm a straight shooter. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. My specialty, if you look it up, is domestic and intimate partner violence because
Mm-hmm.
I have lived
Wow.
experience. But I specialize in that behavior health management. So I come from a place of love as Dougie being a friend, but also as a therapist.
Mm-hmm.
So when we on him because we
Right.
know he's a great guy, he's a good guy, and we know eventually he wants the significant other, but not at the hands of these people who could cause danger. It's not like people contemplate now, they act first and ask so many questions, and some don't have no remorse later. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
coming from that aspect. Knowing him and knowing how other people are is fine. But again, we're talking about the world, because the world is why a lot of us is single, because we're not going to put up with those red flags, as we call it, that we see it. We see the behaviors, the aggressiveness. You have a lot of aggressive people, and that
Mm-hmm.
can lead to worsening situations that we can't get out of. I don't feel like moving from my home because of aggression or the stalking. Have done it, been there too. But what I'm saying is we're coming from a place, and he wouldn't put his information out if he didn't want us to give him the real.
Right. And right here too, this may be a part of it as well. Um, Simply 10 Art said, I missed that part, her being the pop-up queen. And maybe Big Sis may have missed that as well, because she's popping up at his house, Big Sis. And look at my baby niece. I always call her baby niece, but she's grown. Chrissy.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Chrissy Pooh.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Uncle loves you. I love you too. Um, yeah, so that's why we're saying it like that, Big Sis. But you are right in your way as well. The delivery could be a little different, but then I'm Doug. You already know how he is. You know what I'm saying? Like how I am. I'm gonna talk to him. Just like in certain situations, he can talk to me like that. And I know you know that, Big Sis, because you've known him since he was a baby as well. And so uh, um, Big Sis said also, as a therapist, you can soften your words. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I
But
mean,
that's not the approach. This is not a paid session. And when my clients come to me, if you don't like my style, you can move forward. And I do have a soft side, but we're talking about a social media platform that he put his business out on. When I'm in my profession, but I'm saying I'm coming from that aspect. And I'm also coming from a personal background. But we're hearing you. And I'm going to suggest, Dougie, that you may seek some counseling or therapy on your own to
mhm.
figure things out. or pastoral, whatever people, because some people go church, pastoral council, whatever. Men's group, you may want to join a men's group just to hear other aspect of intimate partner issues.
And experiences.
Yeah, and then you may hear, and you also is a judge of your own character. You only gonna put up for what you want to put up. And like I said, if he didn't want us to hear it or give our opinion, he wouldn't have came on and told his business.
Now, you want to read Bayliner, cousin?
Oh Lord, them lyrics are Dougie. Definitely need to hear everything that has been said tonight because he's looking at domestic violence issues. Oh, them words got real small.
Yeah, and see, that's where I think, I don't know, Big Sis was here when that, because she had just, she said she heard it all. Okay, all right. But and then Big Sis said also, I disagree with your manner. You sound like a little harsh, cuz. Well, I might have been a little harsher.
It's okay if people disagree. That's fine.
And so, but Dougie, we hope that you definitely got something out of it, and you can definitely stay on here, and if anything that you want to say and put out there, definitely, because you're dealing with an issue that you definitely need to address and figure out a plan of what you're going to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Everything you should know me. Everything somebody said. If I put something out there, like Sweet Mother says, I put it out there. So if somebody have a response to what I say, what I do, of course I'm listening to it, and I'm gonna take heed to it.
Mm-hmm.
If I didn't, I wouldn't have said anything.
Right. Well, I mean, like I said, this is our meetup every week, and you're always here, and we appreciate that. And you want to read Miss J?
Dougie, you have a wonderful support system.
Yes. Yep. And I
It's
mean,
the
we're
one
here.
above it.
Huh?
I do not want.
Oh.
I do not want to say how sorry I am. I do want to say how sorry I am, Dougie, that you're going through, and I'm praying for your situation. Also, you are blessed to have a beautiful family who loves you.
Right.
Thank you.
Right. And then also, Big Sis said, I agree totally. The young lady on the line has the perfect tone to convey that message.
Yep, that's why she on here. Wonderful. We definitely agree.
So, what else? Okay. So yeah, and now, and not to put, I'm not saying that the one that you're dealing with, Dougie, but remember when I was talking about Pookieshas? That is the characteristic or traits of a Pookiesha, because if let's take her out of the equation and put a man there. That's a Pookie. You know what I'm saying? And not saying that every man that get like that is a Pookie, because every man can get upset, and every man can handle it the wrong way as well, just like a woman can handle it the wrong way, and that don't make him a Pookie. But that right there is very similar to that, and that's why, like, meditation and taking a break for yourself is especially at our age is very important. So I mean, it's just one of those things that you really have to pay attention to, because nowadays, even as Cuz said that how we were talking about how prevalent disorders and mental illnesses are today, and
but then also too,
you
Creek,
can't play around with that.
But also too, Creek, people stress it a lot when it comes to the women being victimized. They don't stress it when it's the man being the victim.
Right.
They laugh it off, or it's, oh, he just need to do this, that, and the third. Without giving him the support. They always see the woman side, but not how men go through domestic violence and intimate partner issues. So, that's not a big thing, but it's starting to become more prevalent now. In society, but a lot of times it's like, oh, well, just just do this, and this. But you got to understand, it's just role reversals. You just put the scenario different than the person, the sexual orientation, just different.
That is funny what Big Sis said. And I'm gonna tell you how funny that is, big sis. And that's very true. She was just saying, Baylon, if you knew me, I don't sugarcoat at all. DJ Concrete will confirm that, and big sis already confirmed it, and it's funny. It's funny. That is hilarious, actually. But anyway, and then you want to read Simply Tenor?
If she pops up unannounced, she's trespassing. Period.
Yep. And Baylana say laugh out loud. I'm not a sugar coater either. And yeah, so yeah, it's you know, it's rough out here. And like again, I say this all the time because it's the truth. I hate that y'all women have so much to deal with when it comes to looking for a man. And I know it's easy for y'all to say, well, I ain't looking for no man. But this system is not built for single women. It's not built for single men. It's built for couples and families. And I'm sure a lot of y'all then learned that, but now ignoring it, even when it comes to getting car insurance, when it comes to just living, period. You know what I'm saying? It's rough. And I feel, you know, I ain't even gonna mention that, but I'm just telling y'all, it's rough. And I hope that things work out with you, Dougie. And I appreciate everybody coming to the show. And we actually had a great show on Wednesday, but it got clipped. Yeah, I don't know if I told you why it got clipped, right? Cousin. It got clipped because we were playing
copyright music.
Correct. So I'm still going to try to put bits and pieces of it up, but it was a fun show. And everybody got a chance to roast me. Y'all roast me a little bit tonight too, but it's okay.
Just a little bit.
It's absolutely okay. And then I had my brother-in-law, he always got to play games and stuff like that. But, I love him to pieces. I look forward to that when he does stuff like that, actually. And y'all know how we always end it. We end it by showing appreciation and shout outs to our fellow subscribers and the people in the comments that our supporters. Once again, you want to read what Simply Tenor said?
I don't know the premise of the pop-up, but it sounds like insecurity. Great show tonight. So thank you, Bayliner, cousin Leslie, little cousin Chrissy, Simply 10. Dougie, thank you so much for coming in and sharing your story. We appreciate you. Miss J, Me D, thank you for being the co-host. Miss Wendy, we ain't seen you in a while. Thank you for calling in. Keep calling in. We love the conversations with Crete and all of us that are co-hosting with our executive producer in his sharp post-birthday outfit. DJ
cousin.
Unique, thank you for coming. Brother-in-law, you and Snickles can do your thing now. You done watch the show. We happy. Me D. Let's see who else was on here. Excel was here in the beginning. Thank you all for coming in. Let me see. Make sure I got everybody.
And I hope Creek don't have on some red shoes.
Nah, I took my red shoes off. Took my red shoes off, Dougie.
Oh yeah, Indigo Phoenix. Thank her for coming in. Indigo Phoenix.
Yeah.
Who is a musical artist, hip hop artist. Thank you for coming in. Make sure Indigo, you come on Wednesday at 9 o'clock ish. Sydney Collier, thank you for coming in. We got Excel. And that was it. And thank you guys who come in. Make sure you like, subscribe, share the video, make your comments. Make sure you continue to get the likes up, get the subscribed up, repost on your social media so you can come on and be the co-host and say what you want to say when you want to say it. We got our call-in line. Make sure you come back on Wednesday for part 2. We still celebrating Pisces season. DJ Concrete, we're going to get it up and popping. And we're gonna have a good time. The music was bumping. The after party that nobody saw was great. We're gonna make sure the equipment is working, and we're gonna
Right.
have our regular DJs, Trelly Trail, Community KP, Southside Doughboy, Excel, myself, and our executive producer for Street Tactics Radio Channel, DJ